Hey, it's Life with Sean Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, subscribe. My reviews on the way on period. This video is Insane Story Times. Let's watch the video.
Okay, so I wanted to give y'all a quick story time about how I almost got trafficked by my best friend. Well, literally like set up in traffic. This is why you should trust who you hang around and watch your surroundings at all times. I was dancing in this little hole in the wall in New Orleans, and I had met this girl at the strip club my first night. She was telling me how she was best friends with my best friend, but I had never heard of this girl a day in my damn life. So when I asked my friend, at the time dance partner as well, I was like, hey, do you know this chick? She claims that she knows you. And she was like, yeah, she's cool. You know, she's been dancing here a long time. We consider her like an OG. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm already getting in with the OGs. And if you know, you know, like when it comes to dancing, especially new, I was literally a baby dancer, like 19. I'm 27 now. She invited me to brunch the next day. Mind you, I didn't stay in New Orleans. I stayed in Mississippi. And I didn't have a car at the time. Like I said, I was like freshly out of high school. Then she pulls up in this Mercedes and she takes me that she's outside. So yeah, I get in the car and she was already being a little awkward. Like she was cool for the takeoff, but y'all, once we got on the interstate, craziest shit I had ever heard in my life. One of the questions was like, how would your family feel if you never came back? Like if they never seen you again? Like, girl, who asks that, first of all? But anyway, I kept going with him. So I'm listening. I'm just telling her stuff. I'm telling her like why I started dancing, you know, what's my goal dancing. Because at the time I was really into like just the pole work of the, I cared too much about shaking ass and shit. And she was real fit, y'all. Like this, I don't know. So also I started to notice on the ride, you know, to New Orleans, I would ask to go to like fast food and stuff. She didn't eat fast food. Like I said, she was real fit and she had a very strict diet. She's ordering like, I think like a parfait or something from McDonald's. I was ordering like all type of stuff, you know. Y'all, wasn't the mission to go get brunch? Okay. So I'm texting my friend. She has my location. I'm texting her, you know, every time that we, you know, make a little stop or whatever, just to let her know like everything's okay. Like I'm with such and such, you know, she real cool so far. So mind you, while I'm making these phone calls, the girl is also making phone calls, but it's like a man's voice I'm hearing. I mean, every time we stop, y'all, we could literally like, and I brought my little chihuahua too at the time with me as an emotional support animal. I didn't care at all. I bring my dog everywhere. She would stop and like call this man every single time we would stop or pull over. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I told my friend, I'm like, girl, does she have a boyfriend? Like, I'm texting her, like, hey, you know she got a boyfriend or something? Because every time we make a stop, she's calling this man, telling him where we at. My friend was taking too long to respond after I asked her if, you know, if there was like a man involved or whatever. Or did she have a man? Mind you, okay, we get to the girl's house. Y'all tell me why we walk in and her lights are out. Her lights are out. So I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, what we gonna do if the lights out, you know? So guess who she calls? This man. So she's like, hey, like the lights are out. Like, what are we supposed to do? I'm supposed to be getting ready for brunch, but the lights are out. Like, it's like as if the lights are out was like a fucking key word or something. Then we go to this hotel, motel type of place. Mind you, I keep telling y'all this is like 2015, 16 at the time. So yeah, motels, hotels, it really didn't matter. So we check into this motel, and girl, when that motherfucker got on that phone that last time to tell that man where he was at, I lost it. Because why do you keep calling him and telling him where we're at? Why does he need to know every little move? Like, it's not making sense. We get a knock on the door. It's the man. It's the man. He's like, hey, let me talk to you for a minute. Shorty walks out the door. Soon as he says, hey, let me talk to you for a minute, Shorty walks out the door. So at this point, I'm just looking, I like, you know, like, yo, what's good? And he was like, hey, such, and you're going to need my number from now on. So I'm like, all right. I start putting it, I'm going along with it. I'm like, all right, what's your number? I put the number in my phone, and I'm like, what do I need to save it as? Like, what's your name? This man says save my number in your phone as King. So at that point, I literally lost it. I lost it. I already knew what was going on. I had at this point acted like I needed to go to the restroom after I got his number, and told him it was nice to meet him. Was waiting on the girl to come back. When I came out the bathroom, she still wasn't there. It was still the nigga. Even taking a next breath without asking what the is going on. So he begins to ask me, how do I know my best friend? I'm like, no, how do you know my best friend? He's like, oh, she's been one of my girls for a minute. One of my girls, like, what the fuck do you mean? One of my girls. She's been one of my girls for a minute now. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? I was literally shaking in my motherfucking pants at this point. Get a knock on the door. Do y'all want to know who it is? Guess. It was my best friend.
That's crazy. I would have lost my mind. I don't know. Sometimes you gotta think about the line of work you do. But it doesn't even matter what you do anymore. Next video.
So another story time. My mom got married in 2008 to this man. They got tested for STDs. They had the church wedding, everything. Then they moved away. I stayed here with my grandparents. My mom gets pregnant. She finds out she's pregnant with twins at her first ultrasound. They call her back in, and at first she thought, oh, it's because I have diabetes. Like, this is normal. They did the same thing when she was pregnant with me. They said, no, ma'am, you have HIV. She was absolutely distraught because what do you mean I have HIV? I've been married to the same man. We got tested. I don't understand. Believe it or not, when they went to go get tested for the STD, they stood in front of each other with the doctor, and he said, I don't have any STDs. And she said, I don't have any STDs. The doctor knew that the guy that she was going to marry was lying, but the doctor couldn't say anything because of the HIPAA Law Privacy Act. So he knowingly affected her, and he actually went to jail for it. Aside from that story, he also slept with his boss. This boss found out that she had HIV. Oh, by the way, he knowingly infected over 200 men and women. But out of those 200 men and women, his boss was one of those people. She found out that she had it, and she was so distraught, she stayed in the house for like 4 or 5 days. She didn't talk to anybody, even her boyfriend. Her boyfriend ended up catching it, and he was trying to reach her, but she couldn't talk to anyone. She was so distraught. And so on Mother's Day, she's walking out of her garage, and he ends up shooting her dead. And no one, no one knew exactly why until years later. It's insane. And her death was a result of him knowingly infecting her. There's so many more stories that are connected to it. It's absolutely insane. If you want to look it up, you can. But yeah, I thought I'd come on here and share. It's a little more heavier than my last story time, but yeah. I keep forgetting details, but also, you know how I told you my mom was pregnant? She was pregnant with twins, and she had them at 4 months old due to all of the stress endured because of this situation. So my brother was born with cerebral palsy, and my sister just has autism. But they both endured tons of surgery, and they were not supposed to live. Born at 4 months, they were not supposed to live, but they did, thankfully enough.
That's crazy. I don't even know what to say. That is just crazy. That's why it's hard to date out here. It's hard to be in a relationship because you just never know what is going to happen or who's going to lie to you. It's just crazy. Hey, think about this video. Comment below. More videos on the way on Period. Bye.